Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Rad and welcome to my ranking of the Soulsborne games. The Soulsborne games are 6 games developed by From Software, which have a very challenging gameplay and usually an amazing combat and level design. I love the Soulsborne games, mostly because every step forward in each game feels like a victory and every step back feels like a lesson learned. Each game tests your patience, and every time you're entering into a new area you feel the tension in the air, wondering what you will find next. It definitely forces you to become a better player, so I have decided to do my personal ranking of these 6 games from worst to best. Just remember that this is just my opinion, so feel free to share your personal ranking in the comment section below. So let's start with number 6. Number 6. Dark Souls 2. The fact that I put Dark Souls 2 at number 6 doesn't mean that the game is bad at all. On the contrary, I think it is a pretty good game. In fact, the hub area in Dark Souls 2 Majula is a gorgeous place filled with many hidden secrets and mysterious residents, and it is easily my favorite in the series. Also, the lore of this game about Drenglik and King Vendrick is really interesting. However, Dark Souls 2 has two main flaws. The combat feels different, but not in a better way, and the level design is not as good as the other games. Just to give an example, I still remember at one point that I had to take a very long elevator just to discover an iron castle at the top, but it was surrounded by lava, which doesn't make sense to me. Things like that make you feel like you're playing some kind of Souls clone game instead of a main entry in the series. But having said that, Dark Souls 2 has some strong points, including the DLCs, which are some of the best in the series in my opinion, and it is definitely worth playing. Number 5. Demon Souls. Demon Souls is where everything really began. The game has all the ingredients needed to make a great Souls game. Great level design, cool boss battles, decent gameplay mechanics, and a pretty good lore. In terms of difficulty though, sometimes it is actually more difficult to get to the boss battle than to actually fight the boss. Bosses in this game are not too difficult, with some exceptions, and I mean that compared to the bosses of the other games, which is understandable since Demon Souls is the first game in the series. Even though Demon Souls is not as polished as some of the other games in the series, it is still a great game. This is definitely a game that will benefit greatly by getting a remaster, but it is still a fantastic experience nonetheless. Number 4. Dark Souls. Alright, this is masterpiece territory already. Dark Souls is a brilliant game, plain and simple. In my opinion, it has the best level design in the whole series. The world in Dark Souls is so interconnected and well designed that you can't help but to get lost in it. If it is your first time playing the game, you're going to die. You're going to die a lot, but it never feels unfair. Maybe you tried defeating 3 enemies at once in a hack and slash style, or maybe you needed a bit more of patience against the boss. As you progress in Dark Souls, it teaches you, and depending on how well you learn the game, it either rewards you or punishes you. The lore in this game is epic as well. Also, the DLC extra content in this game is fantastic. If I were to mention a small flaw in the game, is that the first half of the game is so good that it is hard for the second half of the game to keep up with that pace. If this game is at number 4, it is because the other games improve in terms of the boss battles and controls, but still Dark Souls is a game that in my opinion everybody should experience. Number 3. Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is a love letter to all the fans in the series. It took everything that worked from the previous entries and then added improved graphics, smoother controls, and some of the most insane boss battles in the series. The gameplay is faster than in Dark Souls 1, which allows you to play the game in any way that you want. Do you want to be a big knight with a heavy shield? Check. Do you want to beat the game with 2 swords instead as a ninja? Check. You can technically do these things in the previous Souls game as well, but Dark Souls 3 gives you a fair chance to succeed no matter what your playstyle is. Some of the bosses on this game are extremely challenging and fun, especially the ones on the DLCs. The satisfaction that you get from beating them is second to none. The only thing that holds back Dark Souls 3 a little bit is that the level design can feel a bit linear sometimes. However, it is definitely not bad by any means. I find some of the areas very well done and full of lore. If you haven't played this masterpiece, go ahead and do yourself a favor. Number 2. Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro actually won the 2019 Game of the Year award, and it was very well deserved in my opinion. This time, From Software decided to make a game that has a more concrete story. Instead of creating a character, you control a very skilled shinobi named Sekiro in a journey to rescue his young master Kuro, who has been kidnapped for reasons that you discover during the story. This is probably the hardest game developed by From Software up to this date. The gameplay is extremely fast-paced, and the game forces you to learn all the abilities available to you in order to survive the unforgiving bosses that this game has. You're going to die a lot, but you will also get a bit better every time. It is impressive how polished the combat in this game is, and by the end of it you feel like a true shinobi. The game looks beautiful, the soundtrack is great, and the story delivers. I cannot wait to see what From Software creates next after playing this amazing title. Number 1. Bloodborne. When I was making this list, Bloodborne was the obvious choice for the top spot. From all the games in the series, it has the best combat, the best lore, the best atmosphere, and some of the best boss battles. Its Victorian Gothic theme world is fascinating and terrifying at the same time. Sometimes you feel that you're playing an action RPG, but other times you feel that you're playing a horror game. The gameplay is fast-paced and it rewards you for playing with an aggressive style instead of a defensive one. Because of that, most of the boss battles are a joy to play and they have you at the edge of your seat for most of the time. The different side quests, the optional areas, and the multiple endings will give you multiple reasons to replay this game over and over again, and you will love it every single time. And there you have it, my definitive ranking of the Soulsborne games. I hope you enjoyed this video and feel free to leave your personal ranking in the comment section below. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. That's all for today. Until next time.